a second data series. Then what you do, guys, is you go back, and here's my V scalp. The V scalp is consists of Barbara's TDI indicator, but it's modified. I've taken a lot out of it, and a basic stochastic 525. Now, some of you have emailed me and said you like to change the numbers, you like to change the smoothing rate so that you get more V's, and what I have to say to that is you have to decide what works best for you, but I don't want more V's. I want the V's that I have to coincide with the whole moving average, the 6 HMA on this 1 minute chart. And so I've done tons and tons of back testing. And while, you know, I do like trading on range charts from time to time, this setup along with a 5 minute trigger chart has just gotten to be pretty darn invincible. But you guys got to experiment and, you know, make this your own. So let's look at these two indicators. When we go in and we have our second data series set up, our 30-second data series set up, the first thing you want to add is the STTDI. And let me find it here. Got it up at the top, I guess. Okay, it's in here, I know. Hold on. There it is, right there. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. Okay, this is just the Shadow Traders indicator. But what I've done is this. I have not changed anything up here in the parameters. Actually, I normally take the sound off. Don't know why that went back to true. I make this calculate on bar close false, and I assign it to the 30-second data series. You go to the input series and you click on that and you go down to the 30-second, you hit close and you hit OK. And now you have assigned that indicator to this 30-second data series. So then you're going to tell it to the first one you put in, you're going to just say put it in a new panel. And it will create a new panel. And then when you go back and put the stochastic in, instead of telling it to be in a new panel, you put it in the same panel that you've put this one in. So basically what happens is your basic chart is up here in panel 1, and your stochastic and your TDI are down here in panel 2. And panel 2, everything in panel 2 is assigned to the 30-second input series, okay? Now, I've taken all of these lines that were part of the TDI indicator, the baseline negative, the baseline positive, the Bollinger Bands, all of that I've made transparent. I don't want to look at all of that. It drives my brain crazy. I want to look at the RSI. When I first started trading, I traded with Thinkorswim, and I traded with two things, well, three things: candles, an RSI, and pivots. And it's interesting that on the Thinkorswim platform, you had to put your pivots on a separate chart. You couldn't put them on the same chart with your candles. So it kind of made my brain right at the outset learn how to look at these indicators maybe a little bit differently than some of you guys do. Okay, so my price line is the RSI, and so that's green. And then there's what's called a signal line, and that's just basically giving you a midline, telling you if the RSI is crossing the signal line going down, then it means that you have more momentum in the downward direction. If it's crossing it going up, then you have more momentum. It's a momentum indicator. Everything else is the same, except I went down here and I took my price line and my signal line and I made them a little bit bigger so I could see them. Okay, now let's find the stochastic right here. Basic stochastic, change the parameters to 5, 20, and 5. Calculate it on bar close false. I want this stuff to be real time. I want it to just wiggle up and down in the moment on this 30-second chart. You assign it to the input series, the 30-second input series. And the one little thing that I do is I change this lower and this upper lines, which are your your cycle. The upper line is the top. When the stochastic gets all the way up here to the top, then you're overbought and it's likely going to start heading down. And the same when it gets to the bottom down here at the 20-degree line. When it gets down there, the cycle's finished and it's likely going to start moving back up again. Either that or it'll go sideways. So what I've done is made this upper line red, which says, okay, if it's up here, now I'm looking to go short. And I've changed the bottom line to green because if it's, down here, I'm going to probably go long. I made the D line transparent. I made the K line black and I made it 3 so I could see it. So if you do those things, if you just put those two indicators on a separate 30-second data series, now you've got a V scalp chart and you can do whatever you want up here. This can be a range 4 chart. It can be whatever you want. But if you want to follow my recipe, you're going to use 1 minute and 30 seconds. I found that this is very powerful. And if you do this, if you create an individual trigger chart, just the way I showed you here, the only difference being up here, instead of having all of this, you will have just a whole moving average, a 6 HMA, and you make it a 5-minute time frame, and that's for both. No 30-second, 1 minute. These are both 5-minute time frame. Oh my gosh, you're going to find, especially if you add these slope boxes, you're going to find some incredible entry confirmations. And where we are right now, I started the replay right before class so I could show you this setup and show you how powerful it is. And before I get into that, let me just show you real quickly how I build the slope boxes. I know those of you who've seen this 10 million times don't really want to see it again, but there are several people in the class who would love to, who've never seen this, and they'd love to know what I'm doing. Okay, so I end up putting all of these slope box multis. I put 4 of them in, bang, bang, bang. I go grab them up there and put them in. And then I just start with one or the other, and I assign them all to the top right. They're all in the top right-hand corner of the chart. And then I just start with the box numbers. The first one's box number 1, the next one's box number 2, the next one's box number 3, the next one's box number 4. Then I decide, okay, I want my leaders first and my laggers second. So I make this first one an HMA, and this is wrong. This should be an HMA 6, not a 16. How did that happen? HMA 6. Isn't that interesting? Some of my charts have been doing weird things this week. I'm not sure what the deal is. Let me get on the other slope box. Okay, my second one will be an HMA 14. Let's find that one. Where's the next slope box? Okay, so slope box 2 is the whole moving average, but it's a 14. The next one are the LINREGs. So the LINREG leader is the LINREG 4 and the LINREG lagger is the LINREG 9. So we basically just choose those values and put them in. Box number 4 is LINREG 9. Where's the other one? I'm not sure. Here you go. Box number 3 is the leader, LINREG 4. And the only other thing is you make suppress line plot true because you don't want these values in these boxes to create a line in the chart. You just want to be able to quickly glance at this box and say, oh my gosh, look at this upward momentum, 80, 80, 84, 85, and look at the trajectory on these lines down here. Everything is telling you long term, I don't care what's happening here, this is kind of pointing down. You've got momentum over the long term that's going to take this market up. And we're going to show you how that's going to work in just a minute so you can understand how to use the information from these two charts. Now, I often tell people when you're first starting to play with this strategy, just make a 30-second trigger chart and don't do anything except place entries on the sim on the 30-second chart when you get a V, a V, and a V. Just so you get your brain trained. It's just like squeezing with the right hand to remember it, squeezing with a, or yeah, squeezing with the left hand to recall it. It's a way to burn this into your brain and let your brain know, hey, this is how this works. Hey, look, here's a V, here's a V, there's a V here, click, and see what happens. Just do that on the sim. You don't want to trade live that way, but you want to get yourself trained to use this. Okay, then when you're doing that, then you have to incorporate the information that this panel is giving you on where the price is going based on the trend, based on the barriers, based on what you know about fundamentals. And then if you need a final confirmation of your entry here, it's like if you look over here and you have everything headed in the same direction you're getting ready to get in with high numbers in these boxes, it's like, holy moly, jump in, okay? All right, we're gonna start up the replay in a minute, but let me get back to you on that. I'd be happy to talk to you all, to keep in touch with some of you, especially if you want to do the coaching. I've got to make sure that I'm not doing something that Barbara wouldn't want me to do. And so, let me get back to you on your request, Dylan. How do we get in touch? Okay, for personal training. How about if I contact you? Any of you who've said in here that you're interested in personal training, I'll get back with you all. In fact, if you don't mind tonight, just leave a telephone number and I will call you. Okay, never heard one-on-one. Never heard one-on-one. Rose, I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're asking. How's my house sale going? Tomorrow's the big realtor open house, so we'll know after then. Okay, the brain yoga was way too fast for me to copy. Is there a PDF or a place to find it? Okay, Jim, just Google brain yoga. If you Google brain yoga, you're going to find all kinds of articles, and that was really interesting. And then the other thing you want to look at is that that other article, and let me pull that back up for you, because those things are, they help you. They help your trading, guys. The improve your memory thing. Let me see if I can give you that link. I'll put it in the, I'll put both of them in. Let's copy. We'll copy the link and I'll put it in here. Paste. Okay, let's send. And then let me go get the brain yoga for you real quickly. Oh, I don't have the link for that one. Sorry. I just have the, but just Google brain yoga and you'll be able to find that. Okay. Yeah, Scott, absolutely. The CFTC, what can we do? We have to, the big deal here is liability for Barbara and shadow traders. And there's nothing that I want to do that would create any problem for any of Barbara's students or for Barbara and her company. I've had such fun with shadow traders, and this past year has been a blast doing this. And guys, I'm going to tell you that the best thing about this, it was kind of fun, feeling like a rock star, everybody loves you, oh, that's cool, and then you screw up and then it's like, oh, you feel really bad. The best thing about this whole experience has been how much better a trader it has made me. When you do this kind of work, preparing to share what you're doing with people, and you don't want to screw them up and you don't want to make it worse for them, you want to do a good job, then you get better. So take my word for it. Each one of you should take on a coaching student. You should find somebody that you want to share this with and make yourself into a teacher, and you'll become a better trader. Hi, Dr. John. Okay, I would love to share some thermography ideas with you. I will be in touch. You guys are all so cool. Thank you so much. Hi, Ladane. Was this supposed to be a Segredo training tonight? No. No, this is my last class tonight, but what they are going to do in the future on Wednesday night, since I won't be available, they're going to use it as Segredo training. So unfortunately, I'm not doing Segredo tonight. So if that's what you came for, I give you permission to leave. I don't want to waste your time, but that will probably start next week. Okay. Okay, David, where can I find the fib indicator? Well, the fib is right in your Shadow Traders indicators, but I use the Shadow Traders fib. So you go down here where all the ST indicators are, and it's right here, ST fib numbers. Let's put it in and see what happens. Sometimes I take it out because it just gets to be too much to look at. Okay, it's going to take my system 2 minutes now to recover from that. See, here are all the fibs, and that really is a little bit much for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. It's much better in the morning when you get updated indicators. And this is yesterday's replay that I have up here. So let me get rid of that so you all won't be confused. Yeah, today was absolutely flatso in the market. 00 fib, never heard of that. Well, look into that because the 00 fib is powerful. How do you get the asterisk without the rays? Okay, well, we actually do have rays. We have, well, we have lines instead of rays. So let me show you that little trick. Again, this is Sheryl taking care of her visual cortex. So when I build my fractals, guys, I go in here and instead of rays, I want lines. So the default says draw rays versus lines, and it's true. Well, I change that to false. And then I make the marker size, which is the asterisk, I make it 12, okay? And then I take the ray width down to 1 instead of 3. I think the default is 3, okay? And so then what I get is this, which is these dear succinct little fractals going from asterisk to asterisk, which are very easy to take in the information visually. In other words, it's showing you your channel. It's kind of in lieu of a Bollinger Band. It's showing you, you know, where the price has lost its momentum and it's trying to change. But then when you get down here and it goes the other way, okay, now you know that the price, that the momentum, it's caught in a channel. It's caught in here on this market pivot. Using the asterisk and the rays, the lines versus the rays this way has helped me enjoy the fractals more. You know, basically this chart is pretty simple. I mean, I guess it looks a little bit busy to some of you. You know, having the moving averages and having the two whole moving averages makes it a little bit of a challenge to see all that I want to see. Having the MA cross builder in the back prevents me from going back and making these moving averages fatter, brighter, bigger, because once I see this, then I know my 13 and 20 have crossed. And so I pay a little bit more attention to that, just telling me when the cross occurs. I used to spend an inordinate amount of time looking at the angles and flattening on the 13 EMA. But what you'll see is that 13 EMA correlates pretty closely with these whole moving averages. Here's your asterisk, here's your 6 HMA, here's your 14 HMA, and look, here are your stochastic and your RSI giving you some upward momentum, a little bit of angle and upward momentum. Let's see if I can find a better one. Let's find a better correlation. Right here is a real good one. You're getting your 1320 cross, okay? Your 14 has changed from red to green. I can't even tell what the 6 is doing because it's blending right in there, but it looks like it's changing right at the same time. You have your asterisk, and at the very same moment, you have your two angles down here. Look at that. I mean, how much better indicator of that is that, oops, the price is getting ready to change. Now, the interesting thing is here, you know, you have this strong entry setup here, but what's happening? You're going to kind of be afraid to take this because look, you're going right into two major barriers. You're going into two barriers. So that's why I have this queued up here. I want you to see what happens and how you might want to handle this when you're trading. So we'll get to that in a minute. You know, bear with me, guys. I will turn on the, you know, the playback at some point here. And basically, when you're getting this powerful entry indicator here, even though we're going into the barrier, look at the agreement, the correlation that you have over in your higher time frame. It's telling you the same thing. You've had a double V over here, a triple V, you've got all your V's lined up, and everything is just headed north. So even though it's lunchtime, it's right before lunch, and you're going into these barriers, everything is telling you, wow, this is headed up. And look what it did. It headed up for sure, guys. It did head up. All right, let me see here. Let me see what time we're at. 11:35. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and let's talk about what might happen next. Okay, so we've made this huge move up. Okay, we got a nice V scalp entry, and even though we were headed right into these barriers, we could have actually waited until we got up here and tried to take a piece of this action between the market pivot and the 200, because we know that once it clears that market pivot, it's going to shoot up. And I guess I could have taken the replay back a little bit, and we could have played that live. So right now you have what I call a little bit of a pullback consolidation. But look what's happening over here. Look what's happening here. So let me pause this again. Let me pause it, and let me ask you all some questions, okay? So we've got our stochastic has cycled up at the top. We've got the little triangle here telling us that the RSI is overbought as well. Okay, they look like they wanted to go down, and yet they keep coming up. But what do you guys think is going to happen next? Is it going to bounce off of that S1 and stay here in this channel? Is it going to head back down? You know, you've got your other moving averages crossing up, crossing over the 200, kind of agreeing with the long term here, kind of agreeing like we might have a trend change direction coming out of this consolidation and going long. But here you've got kind of anemic numbers, green, red, green, red. So if you can tell me what they think is going to happen next, who thinks it's going to consolidate, who thinks it's going to go short, and who thinks it's going to go long? Continue up. HMA is red. Should continue up based on the numbers on the 5-minute. Yeah, see, this is the key to using this 5-minute, guys, because this 5-minute chart is telling you long term. If there's high volume, it will break out of the S1. Yes. Consolidate, then up. Yes, you guys are getting it. And where's the key? You've got all of this strong indication of momentum in here. So what do we expect when we turn this on? Is this going to be doing sit, 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 jump? Or is there going to be a little bit of movement in here? The 13 has crossed the 200. Think a small pullback, then go back up. Okay, let's turn it on and see what's going to happen. Okay, take into consideration, this is 11:30, right before lunch, and there was probably more volatility than I usually see in that time frame. You know, this is not wonderful volatility, but it's more like I'm accustomed to seeing with CL. Instead of sitting, 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 and jumping, it was doing a little bit of moving back and forth every now and then. So here it's just kind of short candles, dojis, no momentum in this candle, but look at what we have over here on the 5-minute chart. You know, if we're just trading on this, we're going to be sitting on our hands for sure. And we're sitting on our hands now anyway, because we don't have anything other than this to tell us that the potential for this to go long certainly exists. Maybe I should speed it up a little bit so you guys don't have to sit here all night. I'm going to take it up to two speed. Okay, so getting a little retracement. Our gap fill indicator and the blue and the transparent candles are saying, okay, everything's saying, okay, we're going back down to close the gap. Okay, so, okay, we've moved 1 tick, back up 2 ticks, down 2 ticks, back up 2 ticks, down 3 ticks, back up 1 tick, back down a tick, up a tick, up a tick, up, down, little short moves. We're in a consolidation. The market really doesn't know what it's doing yet. These guys, this is saying down. This guy says no, maybe up. These guys are saying up, maybe a little bit of go down. Still some resistance up here, you know. Circle with the dot says, okay, this is as far as it's going to go. It won't go back down and do a total retracement. It's going to hit that 13. There's a fractal. Okay, so let's see what happens here. We're not ready to place any entries yet because we're caught. You know, we're caught here, just sideways, sideways. Okay, sit, sit, down 2, up 2, down 1, up 1, up 1. Little tiny candles, not much action. Okay, most of us would probably have walked away from the trading table by now because it's, you know, 11:40. We know that the guys in the pit are taking off for lunch. And so who wants to sit here and, you know, watch CL go sideways for a while? But I can tell you that it does something, or I wouldn't have pulled up this piece of the replay. Okay, so see what happens? This stochastic really mimics the price so beautifully. When it's pointing down like this, it's showing you what the price is likely to do, what the candles are doing. It mimics the candles. But everything here is still telling you to go long. So there's no entry here yet. You have no V's. You have angles, but you have no V's. So this V scalp strategy is called that for a reason. You enter when you get V's. Okay, so still a little bit of consolidation. Let me move this over so you can see the right side of the chart a little bit better. Okay, getting a little bit of loss of momentum here on the 5-minute. So now we've got a V, possibly a V, and everything is still long here. So let's see. I don't know. Do I think there's enough space in there, you know, to grab some ticks between here and here? Well, I want to see a little bit more momentum before I do that. You know, the fact that this guy's turned red over here is telling me I need to hold off a little bit. Okay, but I'm getting interested because look, I've got a V here. This has turned green. This is angled over. And this is just the time of day. This is the other thing that you have to keep in mind, guys, when you're trading. You've got to pay attention to the fundamentals. You know, if the market's trading, if the market's giving you momentum, then all of this works. If it's the wrong time of day, if nobody's trading, then it doesn't. Okay, I see the momentum picking up now. Do you see what's happening? Now it's moving up. Look at this. I hate that this, let me pause this, guys. I don't know what's happening all of a sudden on my, this keeps changing. I want it on market, not on bid. So hang on just a moment. I'm not sure what's making it screw up like that, but I've had some issues with my pivots and with my charts the last few days. Okay, here we go again. Sorry. Okay, so now I'm back on market, and look, it's at the S1. So I kind of missed the opportunity to scalp a few ticks. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it gets through that S1, because look, these guys are now pointed up with a vengeance. I have momentum in the candles. This is pointed up with a vengeance. Look at the numbers, the momentum over here in these slope boxes. Look at the momentum I have in these slope boxes. So, you know, you want to take, you're late in the process. You don't want to jump in right at this barrier. You want to see if the price can clear the barrier. This would not be the time to jump in. Even though you've got all of this upward momentum here, this is telling you that you have the chance for this to stall, this little angle up here. But as soon as this clears the barrier, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to grab a couple of ticks on that, because now I have until the next day's high. And look at that thing jumping. Do you see what I waited for in order to get in there? You had all of this warning you that you were going to get this burst of activity. You had this telling you you had some legs to stand on, even if it retraced. Long term, it's telling you, yeah, it's headed up there. And you had some space between this barrier and the next barrier. Okay, let's turn the thing back on and see what it does, see what it keeps doing. Now, those of you who are trend traders, and look at that, it's flowing through the previous day's close. And it looks like it has momentum. Look at this, 84, 87, 86, 88. You know, if I were a double dipper, I'd be back in on this again, even though this is all the way up here. And I know I'm probably going to get a little bit of loss of momentum. You know, I might be willing to take a little bit more of that. But no, it's a good thing I didn't, because look, there's the circle with a dot and there's the retracement, little bit of turnover there. But long term, it tells me this is still headed up. So we've got to wait and see what the retracement pans out with. Let me get this over so you all can see this better. Right side of the edge. And actually, let me see if I can pull this down. Okay, so here's our next target. We have the R1 and the previous day's high. And there's not a lot of space between there. Look, we're only looking at a few ticks. And it's not really moving dramatically. We don't really have great volume. And this guy is already turning over. So even though I see the opportunity to grab a couple of ticks in there, I probably would not, I'd probably sit on my hands. But look at that. Look at what the instruments are telling you. Look at this, 80, 80, 80, 80. If I really wanted to be a scalper, I think we could have scalped 2 ticks off of that. But, you know, that's for the scalpers. Now, let me pause this and tell you that for those of you who are trend traders, you don't want to fool with this mess I'm showing you. You want to wait until the market is giving you the volume. It's the right time of the day to trade your instrument and get the maximum bang for your buck. I will tell you that the last 2 days have said to me, summer doldrums are just about here. It's been absolutely despicable in my terms. But when you have normal volume, good volume in the market, and you find this V scalp setup on this higher time frame, these are going to be the trend trade entries. Those of you who are trend traders, you're going to want to look for this setup on the 5-minute chart, and then look for your entry to be confirmed on these lower time frames, and then get in and go for more than your scalps. You can go for more than the 2 tick scalps. Those of you who are scalpers like me and 2 ticks make you happy, then go for the short bits and pieces when you see the appropriate setup. Okay, let me take a breather and get a few questions answered. Nice, can see it clearly. Shouldn't you have bid and ask? Okay, Sylvia, I do not use bid and ask. I don't know why this keeps doing this. I'm going to kill it. Here's why I don't use bid and ask. Okay, let me talk about that for a minute. I like market orders. I like to get in and get out. And I normally do not click a button unless I just see everything going in my direction, and I know the momentum is so incredible that I don't want to have to chase it. I don't want to lose the trade. I know I'm only asking for a few ticks. So if I hit the market order, I know it's going to fill me and keep going. And the truth is, I've experienced so much slippage with the CQG data feed and the way the market is working these days. that it's just easier. If I'm over here looking at bid, ask, market, then I have to make another mental decision. Oops, which one do I want to click? It's far easier for me. And remember the little poem that I had at the beginning of class. You have to know who you are. I know who I am, and I like just hitting market. But if you like having the bid and ask is for those traders who are a little less ADD, ADHD, a little less frantic than I am. I'm a scalper. I'm, high speed Tilly. I see the indicators, I click. I'm not saying that that's the way you all should be or the way anybody should want to be. I'm just telling you that you have to know who you are as a trader and honor that. If you don't know who you are as a person, then you don't know who you are as a trader, and you won't be successful until you identify that. You have to then decide whether you're going to honor who you are and work with that and be uniquely you, or if you're going to modify things about yourself. You can't modify anything until you're aware of it. And so many of us do so many things on autopilot. And then when people play back a conversation or a video, or repeat our words, and we're like, wow, did I really do that? Did I really say that? Well, yeah, you did. And it was so automated in your brain function that you didn't even have awareness that you did it. So trading is about developing awareness. What your habits are, how you're responding and reacting. When you get control of that, you're going to have control of this. This really couldn't be simpler. Either you're a trend trader and you're going to wait for this 5-minute chart to tell you to agree with this. And when these two agree, holy moly, if I were inclined to trade at lunchtime with low volume in the market, this would have been a pretty nice entry. If I were willing to trust, the overall picture. I'm not willing to trust the overall picture. That's why I'm waiting to take little 2-tick scalps out of the market here and there and be safe and go on my way. Only experience and time in the market will, get you in charge of the reins of that particular little Bronco that you're riding. So you all have to take the journey and do the work. Okay, what are the gray bars in the chart? The gray bars are what's called the MA cross builder, and all they're doing in the background are telling me when my 13 and 20 cross. That's pretty critical information to have. If you don't like the gray bars in the background, you can change the color. Sometimes I make them dark because you can see these moving average lines on the darker color better. If you don't want to see these lines in the back, you can just make your moving averages larger and the colors a little bit darker, because you need to know when those crosses occur. And here's the thing, guys, when you look at a chart and you see this, you know that you're in chop. When you have a long distance between those gray bars, wow, those are your trends. Those are your trends. When you see lots of gray bars, that's when the market is in a consolidation mode and all you're looking at is chop, and you don't want to be trading in the chop. So, if you want to use those, great indicator, MA cross builder. Let me see where it is. Well, it's here. Let's see, right here. The MA cross builder. I use the default settings. I just change the draw color down here. I change all of these boxes to transparent. And then I change the chart back color to the silver, the gray. Let me show you what it looks like when I make it dark. This dim gray is kind of interesting sometimes. And sometimes that's a little bit easier to see, but some people don't like it to be so bold. Okay, sorry, I keep forgetting that when I make these changes, it takes a little while. See, when you make it dark, then you can get a little bit better look at the moving averages as they cross over. But that can be a little bit busy and a little bit distracting, because what I really want you visually focused on is are these angles. I want you to be paying attention to the angles, okay? All right. Okay, Steve, interest in thermography. Okay. So the 30-second is only for the dashed HMA. Your stochastic is on the standard setting for 1 minute. No, you've got that wrong. The whole moving average, the 6 HMA and the 14 HMA up here in the 1 minute data series, the 1 minute input series, are all on calculate on bar close true. Okay. On the trigger chart, I use a 6 HMA and it's on false. On both of these charts, the individual trigger chart and the trigger panel on the combo, everything is on 30 seconds. Well, 30 seconds here, 5 minutes here. I don't change this to a 30-second. This is what it is. Either you can use this as a 30-second, you can use this as a 1 minute, you can use it as a 5 minute. These are both on the same time frame. But this guy down here is always on a 30-second time frame input series, and these are always calculate on bar close false. The trigger panels are always calculate on bar close false. Even over here, when you use the different time frame, higher time frame, calculate on bar close false. Up here, your whole moving averages, calculate on bar close true. Okay. What are the beige and blue vertical bars in the default shadow trader setup? What do they represent? Okay, Scott, you're a newbie. So let's help you out, Mr. Newbie. And oops, I'm sorry. Let's bring up just a quick basic chart and look at that. And I'll do my favorite CL, and we'll just put a, let's see, a Barbara basic or a Melanie basic. Okay, nope, Barbara. Barbara's the one who likes to use that. Let's do the, well, let me see if I can find it. I know her charts are in here. Just that I have way, way too many. See, this is how much experimentation I do, guys. I have 9 million charts. Okay, chat room, no sounds. That'll do it. Okay, if it will load. Oh, I didn't put an instrument in. I'm sorry. I thought I chose CL. All right, let's get rid of that. I'm sorry, guys. This sucks. There it goes. I didn't choose a 4 range either. There we go. Okay. Okay, this is here are all of your stochastics, and here's your MACD. Barbara likes to use, see, Barbara refers to this all the time, runaway stow, runaway stow. And that's what made me put it on top of that TDI indicator, because it's telling me what the price is doing in the moment. Look at this, it angles and it goes up and the price goes up. That stochastic, that 525, that fast moving stochastic is very informative. Okay, Barbara likes to use the MACD. I used to like to use the MACD, but now I love using the RSI. Okay, what are the beige and the blue bars? Well, they're affiliated with the fractals. Basically, whenever you see the blue bars print, the blue bars are telling you you're going to get a change of direction. And you had a little downward motion, and then a blue bar printed saying, okay, we're going to go long. And then you get a beige bar printing, which says, oh, you're going to go long with momentum. When I first started trading with shadow traders, I didn't like looking at both of those. So I took the blue bar off, but I liked using the beige bar, because if I said, oh, okay, here's an entry, then that beige bar says go for it, because when the beige bar prints, it says that you now have momentum in the market. And it's taking that information from her fractal algorithm. And the fractals, when they print, are very powerful. You know, those of you who don't use the fractals, you should pay attention to them and try to get them into your tool belt, because they are beneficial. Okay, I'm going to turn the replay back on. I'm going to put it the dash dot line on the 5-minute panel. It's a whole moving average. It's a 6 HMA. I've given the 6 HMA is my V scalp partner. When I have a 6 HMA giving me a V while I have the RSI and the STO giving me a V, then I've got an entry. That's how I'm using this setup. So the 6 HMA is critical. The 14 confirms. Okay, so look what this is doing, guys. And this is a little bit of an anomaly. This is telling you it wants to go back down, but look at that price charging up. So would I be trying to take a piece of that right now? I'm not sure. Here's the fractals coming in. We've got momentum divergence because you've got dojis and wicks, and now you've got your gap fill indicator, but it clearly has made it all the way up here to the R2, and this 5-minute chart has clearly indicated that that's happening, even though your shorter term is telling you, no, we're ready to turn back down. The long-term verdict says we're going longer, we're going higher. So let's see, how we want to trade this. Do we want to trade on the long term, or do we want to trade on the short term? Let's just be brave. Let's listen to the long term. I'm not going to scalp. I'm going to do a long-term entry. And I actually, since it's a long-term entry, I'm going to ask it for a few more ticks. Now, I have no idea. My scalping strategy would say, no, it's headed back down. You're on a barrier. You can't get in here. Those of you who are trend traders and you look at this kind of momentum going in your direction, you should assume that it's probably going to go longer, but let's let it play. Let's see what happens. And while we're doing that, we will see that, if you were doing this trade, you'd probably be getting a little bit of an ulcer now because you definitely have some drawdown and you're definitely caught between two barriers. And now you've really got some drawdown. See, these guys are telling you short term what the market's doing. So it's like, oh man, but this is my salvation. It's not going to make it through two barriers. So I'm not going to get much more drawdown than that. So what's that, like 10 ticks or something, 5 or 10 ticks. So let's pay attention. Let's see what it's going to do. See, when you make a bad trade, this is the other thing that you have to understand, guys. You have to understand if you get in, whether you get right out and lose, 10, 20, 30, 50 bucks, or whether you hang on, yeah, you might get a few ulcers, but if you've got a double barrier here protecting you and your longer time frame is still saying 87, 88, 87, 87, I might want to, ulcer it out. That's another individual decision that each of you have to make on your own. Let me move this over again so you can see. Okay, there we go. So let's see where this has the potential to head. Where's our next barrier? Okay, the R3 is right up there. So basically, we could go sideways here for a while. Okay, now we're on the, we won the, look at that. Look at that. Okay, so the long-term information prevailed. Was it worth the ulcer that you might have gotten on the entry? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But do you see how you can use this information, even though this wasn't a perfect entry? Do you see what happened when you got the VVV and the angle up here, even though you were at the overbought? This is the market makers, and this is at a totally terrible time fundamentally. This is lunchtime. We shouldn't be trading at lunchtime. Nothing should be happening at lunchtime. It should be slow and lazy. So this was just an unusual time in the market. All right, we're going to let it play, and let me see if I can take some more questions while the market continues. And it's lunchtime, so I'm not sure it's really going to do much of anything. It looks like we're going to get a little bit of a retracement. Let me pull this over. It looks like it is going to retrace. Let me hit the button here. Okay, here's our asterisk telling us, okay, this is the ceiling, guys. But look at your angles. Look at your whole moving averages. They're pointing to heaven. Look at your 13 EMA pointing to heaven. Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. As for my money, we're probably going to try to blow through that R3. But these guys down here aren't supporting that. So I'm not ready to place an entry because it's lunchtime and because the price is just kind of, it's not really, you know, it's not really, um, it has more volume um, than I see oftentimes in CL in the market. Actually, most times I would trade on this kind of movement on the dome. And you definitely want to look at movement on the dome because so many times the HFTs come in and the institutional traders look at that. It's blowing right through there. So the long-term trigger chart is telling you the real story. It hasn't quite cleared the R3 yet, but look what it did. I mean, it definitely, you had some scalps in there. You had some scalp opportunities in there. So basically what I'm telling you to look out for, and I've gone over this with several coaching students in the last week, you look at this and you see a huge candle print. But while that candle printed all the way from down here to all the way up here, you had your mouse on the price on the dome, and the price on the dome went one tick, two ticks, one tick. The price on the dome where you're placing your entry and getting filled never went from here to here. So what this is telling you is that those institutional traders, those robots, have put an entry in which has the information has you know, been accepted, and you're seeing that being represented in the candles, in the indicators on your charts. But it's not over here yet, because as soon as they put it in, they take it out. They take it out. And so don't get seduced by these candles, and don't go back and look at a chart and see a big candle and say, oh gosh, I missed that entry. That was a great entry. That may look like a great entry, but when you were sitting there waiting to get into that entry, it might have just been doing a sit, 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 jump, sit, 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 jump. You've got to pay attention to this. A lot of people like to run the time and sales charts. That's one more thing to look at. I like keeping my eye on this dome. This dome is telling me whether I should be trading or not based on how the price is moving in the dome. And then the rest of the picture is decided by the information here. All right, let's get some questions. Too much conflict. Okay, Scott, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh no, matchy-matchy. This is a different matchy-matchy, but it is definitely matchy-matchy. Melanie is going to be forever famous for matchy-matchy. Wouldn't you look in the short term? Yes, definitely. I would wait in the short term for a pullback and look for an optimal long entry. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would not be entering on that with live money to save my soul. Would I be entering on this with live money? Very possibly, yes. Very possibly. Would I get in any of this mess up here? Not likely. Not with live money. While I'm practicing on the sim, trying to get my brain to remember and recall appropriately, my brain training, yes, I would try to sit here and call this market. Would I trade during lunch hour on CL? Not likely. Would I trade right after lunch hour? What I've been noticing recently, guys, and here's something I want to show you. Let me show you this. Let's put the, let's pause the market. And this is a good point. I want to bring this up. Okay. I have in the past shown you some of my spreadsheets. Okay, let's get this up a little bit bigger. Okay, so look at this trading day. This is why your effort documenting what you're doing, you know, doing some journaling or documenting and then going back and paying attention. You know, I mean, big whoop. Okay, I made 22 trades. They're all little scalps. Oh yeah, 400 bucks. Okay, great. But look at what I'm learning if I go back and look at this. Okay, so these were all on CL except a few gold trades in here. And look at the timing. Okay, I got up early in the morning, 7:21. I did a few trades until about 9. Okay, so this was a short trading. Obviously, I did my work. The market was moving enough for me to get my entries during this time frame. So let's look at my entries, 7:21 to 7:25. Well, that's too long to stay in a trade. 8:15 to 8:18. That's too long to stay in a trade and only get two ticks. 8:25 to 8:25. Okay, there's my kind of trade. Order filled, target filled. Brain, note to brain. 8:25, the market started moving. 8:25 to 8:25, another order filled, target filled. 8:41 to 8:41, order filled, target filled. Okay, so do you see what I'm telling you guys? I'm identifying when the market had volume and it was easy to trade. 8:51 to 8:52, 8:58 to 8:58, 8:59 to 8:59. All of these were scalps, order filled, target filled. You saw the entry, you jumped in, you got filled immediately. 9, 9, 9:05, 9:05. These were all perfect scalps. But do you see when I had to wait for this to occur? I had to get into that 8:15 time frame. Okay, let's look at another one. This one was, I think, a little bit more interesting only because, let me see if I can pull it out here. Oops, sorry. Okay, let's look at it this way. What we're interested in are these times. Okay. All right. So on this particular day, I started at 7:23. And here's the first trade, 7:23 to 7:25. I'm sorry, guys, that's too long. 2 minutes in a trade to get two ticks is too freaking long. 7:55 to 7:59. Oh my gosh, wait. Do you see what I'm showing myself? My instrument doesn't start trading until about 8:15. So do I want to get up and put live money on the table in this time frame? Heck no. I want to wait until I see this happening. I actually threw in a 6E trade in here, 8:59 to 9:02. Do you think I want to sit in a trade from 8:59 to 9:02 for a creepy two ticks? I want to trade 6E? No. This is the kind of documentation and review that's going to help you decide how to maximize the potential of your time and attention, because you don't want to be sitting here from 5 o'clock in the morning till 7 and then be so tired and frustrated. And then when the market really starts trading, then you're ready to walk away. You're not at the peak of your game. So do this kind of thing. Export your, your information from Ninja, and then go back and look at it and look at it from that critical perspective. How long did it take me to make that two ticks? Was that a good entry? I know it's a good entry if it's order filled, target filled, for sure. Okay, do I want to sit in many trades that take me 3 to 5 minutes to get out of? I don't think any of you want to do that. And here, obviously, the market was cranking here at noon again because I had slippage. I always have a 2-tick profit target, and there I'm getting 3 ticks because of the slippage. So something had to be going on there. All right, does that help? I hope so. Let me just minimize this. Don't save. All right, let me put this back down. Let's see what the market's going to do here. Let's see what our replay is going to do. Okay, do you call that slippage? Yes, when the market is moving so fast that my stop or my target, it tries to fill it, but the order doesn't get placed until it's moved another tick. So yes, that's called slippage. Can you retrieve this record when you trade on sim also? Yeah, you can trade that record, retrieve that record no matter what you do. In fact, getting it off of the sim is where you want to get it, guys. Like here are the sim trades that we've done tonight. So what you do is you go in here to account performance and you say generate. Oops, why is that not generating? Okay, again, I don't know why. Oh, okay, I know it's not generating because I'm on the market replay and it's a different date. It's a different date, sorry. But Normally on your sim trades, they're going to be there, and all you do is go to the trade list where all the trades will be listed. I'm going to do the summary right now. Then you right click grid and just say export to Excel, and it'll put it on an Excel spreadsheet if you're running Excel on your trading machine. Okay, so look what's happening now. We're having, you know, we still have some pretty big numbers up here, but we're having a little bit of angle and a rollover on the stochastic. The RSI is still long-term up pretty much. A little bit of rollover on the 13 exponential moving average, and now we've got a red whole moving average. Our 6 HMA says, yeah, we're going to do the gap close. So I don't know, I might decide to see if I could get a gap close out of that. I don't think, here's my chart doing screwy stuff again. If I'd used my market entry strategy, obviously I would have gotten my 2 ticks out of that. Let me close this daggone thing again. I have to complain to Ninja tomorrow. Ask them what's happening with my charts. I don't know why that dome is continuing to do that, but it's very annoying. Fortunately, I don't do a lot of live trading on this machine. I do it on my laptops, but I do take occasional live trades on this machine. So you see that that was a very nice little scalp, you know, gap close. We could have definitely gotten that. And the setup here was crystal clear. And you got a little bit of confirmation here because this guy rolled over and this guy rolled over. You had your angles over there as well. So now here we are back down here at the 13 moving average. And so now we have to wait. We're in the middle here. We don't know if we're going to bounce and go back up, if we're going to go sideways again for a while. So right now we're seeing a little bit of momentum divergence in here. So we don't know long term what this is going to do. And now we are definitely in lunch hour, 12:05. So it may be that we do a little bit of sideways a sideways motion, movement before the market really makes a decision what it's going to do here. Now look at this. Look, guys, see what happens. We haven't seen our MA cross builder. We've had a nice trend here, nice run up here. So that's what we're looking for next. If we get this MA cross builder printing and telling us that this 13 and 20 have crossed again, then we're going to look for more of a reversal. But right now, if I'm following Melanie basic cookie cutter rules, I've got the 200 here, it's support. My 100 is crossing up over it, the 50, the 20, and the 13. We have a nice span here. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, the information here says up. This information and this information says perhaps down. This information here is telling me that we still have upward momentum. So the long and the short is quick calculation. Sit on your hands. We don't have agreement on all of our indicators. We don't have a high probability entry at this particular moment. Okay, please say again which TDI is true and which is false. All of your TDIs are false. Calculate on bar close false on all of your TDIs and all of your stochastics. On all of these charts, calculate on bar close false. We want these TDIs and these stochastics to be real time. Up here in your 1 minute chart where you have your whole moving averages in the 1 minute time frame, then we want it calculate on bar close true. But down here and over here in the trigger chart, calculate on bar close false. And that's the beauty of this particular setup that I stumbled onto, that when this 30-second calculate on bar close false gives you a V and a V, and it matches the 6 HMA calculate on bar close true on the 1 minute chart, it's an incredible entry. It's an incredible entry. And for those of you who are trend traders, when that matches over here on the higher time frame, holy moly, you know, move that target up and go for, definitely go for more than those 2 ticks. Okay, what ninja version are you running? I think I'm running 13, 12, or 13. Let me see. I'm sorry. I don't remember if I went ahead and moved up to 13. I probably did. Nope, I'm still on 12. Still on 12. Didn't do 13. Maybe that's my problem. I need to finish the upgrade. The best flag on your 5-minute chart is the Linreg 4. Okay, yeah. You know that the leaders and the laggers, the Linregs, Barbara has spent many hours over the years telling us how important, Melanie too, how important the Linregs are. And that Linreg 4 is very powerful. And if you're using that 5-minute chart, absolutely. So look what's happening now. Now you're getting a little bit more uh, um, look like we've got, you know, a V configuration coming up here on our little V scalp area on our STO and on our RSI here. And even though the numbers are still pretty high here, yeah, look what Ed's telling us. The Linreg 4 is now getting a lower and lower number. It's now losing momentum, losing momentum. So nothing here, guys. I mean, everything's just kind of indeterminate. We don't know what's happening here. Let me move this over so you can see. All right, some more questions. If all of your indicators are trending indicators, they end up telling you the same thing and you end up asking too many questions. I'm not sure what you're telling me, Michael. I have to know what the trend is in order to know whether I have a trend trade or a retracement. I have to know where in the trend cycle I am. You know, I'm not sure. If you can be a little bit more specific, I will be happy to see if I can comment on your observation. But yeah, that knowing, understanding the trend is, like, to me, primary importance. I mean, that's what we're trying to identify. What piece of action can we take safely out of this trend? And those of you, you know, who are dyed-in-the-wool trend traders, you're not going to take any of this retracement crap. You're going to wait for this. You're going to look for this big V and the confirmation here, and you know, you're going to want to go here, and you're going to want that higher time frame confirming so that you know that you have the momentum, you know, to take more than those 2 or 3 scalping ticks that I like to take. Those of you who are trend traders can use this setup beautifully. You can use this no matter what kind of trader you are. Look how important it is to look at this setup, but you've got to look at this setup in the context of what time of day it is and what fundamentals might be impacting this. I mean, this is a beautiful, you know, beefy fan that you've got here under supporting you. However, you know, it's lunchtime and this is wave 1 and this is wave 2. Is this trend going to get a wave 3? It looks like it might because of all of this, you know, divergence in here. You know, this is still giving us a little bit of divergence, but now the other indicators are saying no, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know. But you've got to understand what the trend is doing before you can take little pieces of it in other ways, using other indicators. Is that a 5-minute TDI or a 30-second, and what do the boxes represent? The boxes are the whole moving averages, the fast one, which is the 6, the slower one, which is the 14, 6 HMA, 14 HMA, and then we have the Linreg 4 and the Linreg 9, the leaders and the laggers. So the top box is a leader, the third box is a leader, the second box is the lagger, the last box is the lagger. On this chart, everything is on a 5-minute time frame. This is strictly a 5-minute data series, a single data series on this trigger chart. And you can use whatever time frame you want. You can make this a 30-second trigger chart, just like down here. But I like using the 5-minute trigger chart with the 6 HMA, and I use it to confirm what I'm coming up with over here. On this chart, we have two data series. 1 minute is up here, 30-second is down here. So all the indicators in this box, in this panel, are operating on a 30-second time frame, and they are set to calculate on bar close false. All the indicators, every indicator in this panel are operating on a 1 minute time frame, and they are set calculate on bar close true. Okay, and it's that correlation between, you know, those settings that makes this so powerful. So pay attention to that. I know many of you have experimented with changing and doing, you know, different settings and using the range charts, and that's fine as long as you can get the correlation. I spent days doing back testing on this, using range charts, using different time frames, and you know, for me as a scalper, this was magical. But then when Barbara asked me to pay more attention in class to trend trades and spend a little bit of time focusing on the trend entries, and I added this, then it was like, holy moly. If you want to wait for your 100% entries, it's like you don't even scalp over here until you get the confirmation over here, and then you've got a made in the shade trade. You know, when this confirms what you're getting ready to do over here, hallelujah, because especially when you get all of this kind of momentum in these 5-minute slope boxes, it's telling you that long term, you know, the market forces, the algorithm that's counting all of the trades coming in is telling you, wow, this is just long term headed up. You know, here's the chop, here's the little in and out, but here's where the long term is taking you. Okay, do you use the quant with this setup? If so, what time frames? Well, Sean, I do have a little picture of me using the quant with this. So let me pull that up and I'll tell you how I use the quant. And I use it differently than you're going to be taught in class probably. Let me see if I can find that. Here it is. Okay, we'll pull this up. All right, this is going to give me a little bit of grief because it's pulling it up as a video. Okay, most of you guys, when you use the quant, you're using all of these charts and you forget about the radar. You forget about, you know, the you know, this piece here. You've just got a bunch of charts all over the place. Well, I'm using this chart and this chart and this chart. So when I use the quant, and I love the quant, it's powerful. I like using the Segredo radar. And so what I'm doing is whatever instrument I'm trading, and a lot of times I'll pull up a chart with the DX and the ES, and all I'm doing is looking at the Segredo on those, and if one's going one way and the other one's going the other way, it's just a quick way for me to determine that the market is coherent. It's trading the way I like it to trade. There's nothing unusual happening. I can count on my indicators working for me. So, you know, I use charts on the quant that way. But otherwise, I'm using my V-scalp setup, and then I'm using the Segredo radar. And every few minutes, I'm clicking this mirror button, click, 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 so I can be updated. And if I'm getting ready to go short and I'm looking at this red, 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 red across the board, I'm in. I mean, this, what better confirmation, you know, could this be? I mean, maybe it could be better if this were a 1 or a 2 and the 3-minute were, you know, I don't know, a 3 or a 4. But since I scalp, since I'm not going for bigger pieces of the market, I don't even really care about these numbers. I care that this is all supporting the move that I'm getting ready to make. It's one more confirmation of my entry decision if I need it. So very powerful, very easy to use too. All right, let me minimize that and let's go back over here. Let me see if I can grab some more questions, and the replay is still running. Let me speed it up a little bit so we can get maybe through the lunch hour and maybe find 1 or so more entries before the class ends. Okay, what are the little symbols on top of the retracements? These are gap fill indicators, the little EX and the little diamond. It's one of Barbara's older indicators, but I love it because it's showing you momentum divergence. It's showing you, it's agreeing with the fractal, the asterisk. It's this Shadow Traders EMA gap fill signals, okay? And just default, I don't do anything, different. It's set on calculate on bar close faults. That's the default indicator. I don't make any changes to it. But when I start seeing all of those little gap fill, it's telling me I'm going to get a gap close. It's going to retrace back. And here's my asterisk telling me, okay, I agree. You don't have any more momentum to go long. And here are my two moving averages changing color. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty obvious here. I'm going to get some retracement. I'm going to get some downward movement. Here's my 13 moving average, angling and flattening, agreeing that, okay, I'm flattening out. The price is going to come back down and hit me. And here is your stochastic and your RSI saying, yeah, we're going down. We're going down, guys. So that's a powerful, that and the fractal and the market pivots to me are the most powerful indicators that you can have. Yes, I love using those whole moving averages. They confirm everything. And yes, you have to have your basic moving averages here so that you really understand where the trend is. If you don't know where the trend is, if you don't look at the bigger picture from time to time, you're going to get caught in stuff that you don't want to get caught in. Like right now, if I look at the bigger picture, do I really want to be trading right now? Heck no. It's just sideways chop. Look at this, HFT, 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 HFT. It's lunchtime, guys. It's junk out there. Here was the action here, and your brain gets that when you open the chart up so that you're looking at a larger chunk of the time, the trading time. And so you can really see what the trend has been doing and what it's doing now. Okay, let me see if I can take some more questions. On the 1 minute chart, every indicator is set on bar close true. It's set on the 1 minute piece. Bar closed true. Everything's bar closed true here, okay? Show me how you save your new templates. Show me how you save your new templates. Okay, Jeffrey, if I've just built this chart, well, let's say this chart. I've just built it and I want to save it. I right click, I come down here to templates and I say save as, and we'll just call this last class. But the truth is, when I name my templates, I generally give them a date. And I generally say if they need more than one data series, for example, and then you just hit OK and that would save it. For example, let me show you some of my templates. Let me show you where the templates are saved, guys. If you go to your NinjaTrader 7 folder in My Documents, and you go to Templates, and you go to Chart. Okay, look at all these templates I have. I'm a lunatic. Sorry. I play all the time with building charts, and I save them. But look how I save them, guys. I save them with information. March range 4, scalp 32nd. If I need 2 data series, I'll put that in there. 1 minute 5. Trigger 5 minute, 1 minute 30-second V scalp. So that means I need 2 data series. So be creative when you're naming your charts so that you can go back and see what they are. So look at this. We're missing some action, guys. It finally came alive. Look what this time frame. So I'm gonna be tempted to jump, and I'm late. Dag nabbit, missed it. Okay, let me halt it and take it back to a normal time frame. So crazy guys at lunchtime, either they're just coming back, but if we'd been paying attention during that, this all rolled over and everything turned red. Look at the colors changing on your moving averages on the SUPRES indicator. Now they are not support. They are now resistance. And so look at this. You had your 1320 cross and you had your touching candle, and the price just headed down. Now, we didn't have very good confirmation on that here. I mean, this was kind of in the middle, but this is a textbook. This is a textbook clear trade entry. And here you're on the R3. There's the next barrier is all the way down here at the R4 or at this 50 moving average. Yeah, that would have been a very nice entry. Okay, show me how you save your templates. We did that. What is your time on the TDI with the 5-minute trigger chart? Boyd, on the 5-minute trigger chart, it's all 5 minutes. Let me show you that so you guys get it. All I did was take a 5-minute data series, 5 minutes, that's it. Only thing we did was line on close, transparent, and do not plot. Okay, within that 5-minute data series, I now went in and I chose 3 indicators. Actually, 4 indicators and 1 indicator 4 times. Okay, so I put the TDI in, and the TDI is just on that 5-minute. It's calculate on bar close faults, and I made all the lines transparent, but it's on the 5-minute. All these slope boxes are on the 5-minute time frame. You know, we've got our leaders and our laggers. On the top right, I have the whole moving average 6. On the second position, whole moving average 14. On the third position, Linreg 4. On the fourth position, Linreg 9. Then I have my stochastic. It's the default setting, calculate on bar close faults, put in my little angles, but it's on the 5-minute time frame. This 5-minute trigger chart is strictly simple setup. It's designed to be that matchy-matchy without having to look at a whole nother setup like this. If you can get your V-scalp here on all of these indicators to line up with the V-scalp that you're seeing here, you're in trading heaven. Take my word for it. Okay, some more questions. Do your boxes on the 1-minute represent the same thing on the 5-minute? Yes, they do, Ken. These boxes are the same. Now, the only thing that I've done different here on this chart, if you'll notice, I started my boxes down a little bit lower, and it's because of this. I keep having to move my charts over, and so I don't like this thing being on top of my numbers. So I made the top box position 2. This is position 3. This is position 4. And this is position 5. But they're the same thing. Whole moving average 6. Whole moving average 14. Linreg 4. Linreg 9. Our leaders and our laggers. You know, these are the primary indicators that combined on these 2 time frames give me a quick, just a super quick way to assess what the market's doing. It's awesome. It's awesome, guys. And then when you match up how visually easy it is to see these V's, if they're either above, whoops, what's happening here? Why is this doing this? Sorry. Okay. Either it's above the 80 or below the 20. Your probability for an excellent entry increases when you add those little nuances to the mix. Very, very powerful, very simple, but very powerful. Okay, can I know? Anybody who sends email to me at shadowtraders.com after tonight, I won't have access to that email account. So if you send it there, you'll just be talking to Barbara or Melanie or one of the Shadow Traders staff. Fist to a fan, yes. Do your boxes on the 1-minute? Yes. Yeah, you asked that. Cheryl, can you also say higgly piggly? I haven't heard Melanie use the higgly piggly. That's not my thing. That's her thing. What are the angles on your 5-minute chart? What curves do they measure? Okay, Celso, it's the trigger chart. It's the stochastic. It's the 525 stow, the fast stow, and it's the TDI with only the RSI plotting for you, the RSI and then a signal line, and then a whole moving average, a 6 HMA. Okay. Yes, Joy, Joie, Joy Steen. Am I saying that right? Yes. Unfortunately, tonight, Joy, is my very last night, and I'm going to miss it. I've loved it. It's been fantastic. Barbara has been amazing, you know, giving me this opportunity and letting me work with her. Need a new computer is Core okay, or which ones? Okay, I'm going to send Chuck, I'm going to send you an email. I will answer all of those questions, I promise. Let me get through tomorrow because I've got this big real estate event happening. And yes, I will make sure that I honor all of your requests to answer questions or give you some feedback on your hardware. I'll be happy to do that. Yes, James, I do, but let me, you know, let me give that to you, you know, off Barbara's clock, if you will. Okay, okay, you guys are all, I really need your setup. Just returning and came looking for you. Well, I'm still going to be doing some coaching. So if you want to schedule a coaching session, you know, typically in the past year, Barbara has never put my templates up, you know, and offered them in her downloads or on her website. And part of that has to do with that liability issue. You know, she does not want to put her students at risk, and I don't want to put shadow traders at risk or in jeopardy. And so, we've had kind of an interesting, we've kind of had an interesting arrangement where she has allowed me to do the one-on-one coaching, but she's done it with a disclaimer. You know, this is Sheryl's deal. You know, if you work with Sheryl, she's responsible. And so when I work with one-on-one coaching students, yes, I provide my templates and I log onto your computer and I tweak your settings and I show you how I do this. And let me put it this way, guys. I don't like to, I like to think that I'm teaching all of you to become your own best coaches. You know, I like to feel that the time that I would spend with you is time spent energizing you and giving you enough, you know, basic information, you know, that you take control of your trading. You know, but if any of you are interested, I'm happy to help you. You know, but if you send anything to shadow traders, you know, I don't think they're going to be forwarding it to me. So if you're interested in me contacting you, then you need to, you know, put that in your comments tonight, and I'll get back to any of you. I'd be happy to. My time for coaching and working with people is going to be fairly limited over the next 6 months or so until I accomplish this move. But I'm not giving up trading, that's for sure. And there may be a time in the future, you never know, when you see my face back. But, you know, like I said, given, you know, the information that I have about the training requirements down the road, it's probably not likely. But not leaving shadow traders with anything, you know, but extreme fondness and respect. And I've had a blast. It's been absolutely amazing. Okay. Sheryl, I will miss your classes. Oh, thank you so much. All right. Are there any other, you know, I love all of your comments. You're all awesome. I'd like to show some flowers for you. You guys are too, see, this is part of the fun that's really going to be hard to walk away from. You know, the few live events that we've had where I've gotten to spend time with many of you, it's like kindred spirits. You know, we're all, you know, hardcore individuals. I mean, people who are learning to trade and do this kind of thing. You're not the normal run-of-the-mill human being, I can tell you. And you know, so it's really awesome to get to know some of you better and to work with you. And again, I mean, just keep going to these classes, keep taking in what Barbara and Melanie are giving you. You know, I'm sure I've seen myself grow as a trader. It's been fantastic to see where I am now compared to where I was when I started. And you all will do the same thing. You have the opportunity to make the same journey. So, um, Vicky, thank you. You guys are so cool. Thank you for all of these really great comments. You're awesome. You're awesome. Well, let's see if we can speed this up and find one or two more entries before the evening ends. We've got about 10 or 15 more minutes. I'm tempted to shut down the replay and bring up the live market, but I'm not sure we'd find any activity. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Nope, nobody's pounding in. So let me just see here. What time is it? Let's see if we can speed this up and see if we can get, thank you, Rose. Okay, 6E seems to move around 9 or 9:30. So, you know what, for a long time, I have never played with any of the currencies. And when was it? Yesterday afternoon, I pulled up 6J and oh my gosh, and fortunately it was live money. I made about 3 beautiful trades right in the lunchtime frame, which surprised me. And I was like, wow, is 6J, what's making it move like that? And obviously it was the all of the news, you know, that was coming out yesterday. Let me see if I can find that. Market Watch. Yeah, Market Watch, actually, this was a really good article. You guys might want to go grab this. Shoot, if I can make it work. It's still loading. Give it a minute. My computer seems to suffer when I'm running go to webinar. Okay, so this article, definitely pull up Market Watch and see if you can find it. Dollar slips more versus yen in an emotional market. But this is what I was finding. You know, I was trading that 6J, and it was just perfect. It was the way I remember trading when I first started playing with futures. But basically, you know, they're talking about the dollar against the yen and other currencies. So this is a neat little article to read, kind of give you some a bigger perspective on these instruments. And so while I don't think the 6J trades reliably all the time, if you catch it at the right time, it was some sweet trading. And so what that says to me is that we all have to pay a little bit of attention if we can, if it's convenient, to that market news. I mean, when I first started trading, I said, no, I've got enough to focus on. I don't want to have to pay attention to anything else. I am not going to burden my brain with all of that stuff. And yet what I realize is that if I'm paying attention to some of that news, it definitely would impact a lot of my trading decisions. So get your basics down first, guys, and then come back and, you know, keep building on your trading tools. Okay, let's connect to the live market just for a little bit and see if we can find something. Thank you, Jean. Thank you so much for all that you've taught us. Thank you. You guys are just awesome. Barbara's lucky to have all of you as students and clients. She definitely is. Okay, this is going to come up in the live dome. And that's not where I want this. This is my demo PC. So let's get the live dome off. And nothing on CL. So let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening on 6J tonight, and then we'll go look at 6E for a few minutes. And yes, come Friday and Sunday, I'm actually pretty heavily booked on Saturday, but this weekend, I guarantee that all of your emails, all of your comments that are here in class tonight, and the ones that were in class last night, I will definitely respond to all of you personally. And thank you so much, you know, all of you for, you know, for being so generous, you know, with your interest and with your support. And and with your joy over trading. Okay, so this is being a real stinker tonight. It's not loading my data. Why do I not find that remarkable? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to build the chart real quick. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if it works if I use my template. Last week it did this too. Okay, so we've got to pick out 2 data series, and we want 6E, right? That's what we're trading. And we don't want range. We want 1 minute time frame and a 30-second time frame. So annoying. Okay, on the 30-second, it's got to be line on close, transparent. See if I can click fast enough. And on the 1 minute, we don't want any plotting. Get rid of that. All right, let's go find my, where is it? All right, now I've got to find it. Where's that V-scalp? It's down here at the bottom, I think. There it is. V-scalp, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Okay, now which one do I want? 521 or 529? I'm not sure. Let's try that one. See, that's why you have to label your templates really well, and then you'll know, or you have to go back and modify your templates from time to time. Okay, that did the trick. All right, let's put it back up here and see what's going on. And it looks like, yeah, we actually could have caught a little bit of some downward movement, but this would not have been a good time to get in here. Number one, time of night. Number two, even though this is a nice little reversal occurring, when you're in a reversal like this and the candles are all fisted and sandwiched between all of these moving averages, it's not optimal, guys. It's definitely not optimal trading. Okay, well, I can't think of anything else that might be moving tonight. Let's see what the Australian dollar is doing. I'm always fascinated when I go to Market Watch and read those articles on the currencies like the one I just showed you, and they talk about the institutional traders who put in a trade at the beginning of a month and just let it run. And I'm like, wow. But what it does for me is it brings back an experience where you know, after I made my first big blunder and got whacked on 6E, then I paid attention to the currencies really closely for the next several weeks. And during that time frame, there was a period where 6A started, there was a nice trend trade entry, and it actually trended up consistently for like 5 solid weeks. It did minor retracements, but if I'd been an institutional trader and I'd been going long for that 5 weeks, you could have made a fortune. You know, maybe one day before I die, I will elevate my brain through all of the brain yoga and the fist squeezing to that level of trading. Who knows? We'll see. If I do, I'll come back. I'll tell Barbara she has to bring me back in the fold. Okay. It looks like we're not going to get anything else. 5 more minutes, guys. I'm not going to drag this out. I don't really have anything else to show you. I just want to tell you again how much fun it's been and how much it's been a pleasure getting to know each and every one of you. And you know, if you have anything that you want me to do for you, this is it. This is your last chance. You know, put your request in the question box, and I promise, my hands on the Bible, I will get back to you. But I wish you all the best of luck in your trading. You know, be patient, be diligent in your work. You know, go back and look at your results each day, and be your own best coach. Tell yourself what you did wrong and pat yourself on the back for all that you did right. And don't get discouraged if you make mistakes or you lose a little bit of money. Just get right back in that saddle and go for it again. So thank you, guys, and I won't be seeing you anymore. It actually feels really sad. All right. I'm going to stop talking and let you guys have a minute to write in your comments. And then when I see that it looks like the input has finished, I'm going to pull the plug on it. But, um, you know, see you all again someday, hopefully. It's been real.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.